You know that feeling when you ask an AI chatbot pretty much anything and it just has an answer? It feels like actual magic. But behind all that magic, there's this massive hidden process. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the very first and maybe the most important step of all, building the AI's first library.
It really all comes down to a pretty simple question. I mean, before an AI can learn anything, it needs something to learn from, right? It needs a textbook, a whole library to read. So what exactly goes into that library? Where does all this knowledge even come from?
Now, the official kind of techie term for this whole process is pre-training. But honestly, a much better way to think about it is that we're literally building the AI's first library. This is the stage where you gather this enormous collection of text that's going to become the AI's entire universe of knowledge about human language.
Okay, so this library isn't built from some neat, organized set of encyclopedias. No way. The starting point is the wild, chaotic, and just unimaginably huge expanse of the open internet. So the real challenge here isn't just getting the data, it's finding the good books inside this massive, untamed digital forest.
So where do you even begin to get the raw material for a library this big? Well, for a lot of AI models, the answer is an organization called Common Crawl. For years, they've just been systematically archiving the public web, creating these snapshots of the internet that anyone can get their hands on. Think of it as the giant quarry where the marble for these AI statues is sourced.
And the scale we're talking about here is just staggering. In one single recent pass, Common Crawl indexed 2.7 billion web pages. That's billions of articles, forums, documents, websites, just an immense volume of stuff. And as you can probably guess, hiding in those billions of pages is a whole lot of, well, junk.
Right, so you can't just dump all 2.7 billion pages into an AI and hope for the best. That would be an absolute disaster. And that brings us to the most critical part of this whole thing, the great data cleanup. This is where the engineers have to become librarians and meticulously curate the entire collection.
And this isn't some simple one-and-done kind of thing. It's a really rigorous, multi-stage pipeline that's designed to filter out all the noise and keep only the good signal. So let's just walk through the 5 key steps that turn that messy web data into a pristine, high-quality dataset.
The very first cut is the broadest one. Using what are essentially block lists, entire domains just get kicked out right from the start. You can think of this as the librarian just deciding not to even accept books from publishers that are known for spam or malware or other really undesirable stuff. It's the first line of defense for quality.
Next up, even on a so-called good website, there's a ton of clutter. You've got ads, navigation menus, footers, all that stuff we don't want the AI to learn from. So text extraction is this clever process of stripping away all that boilerplate, all that code, leaving behind just the clean core content, the actual article itself.
Now we get to a really key design choice. What language should the AI actually learn? For instance, in a really popular dataset called FineWeb, the curators made a specific call. They decided to only keep pages where the content was at least 65% English. And that single choice has a huge impact on the final model's capabilities.
All right, time for the final polish. These last 2 steps are all about efficiency and safety. First, they get rid of all the duplicate pages. I mean, there's no point in having the AI read the exact same article thousands of times. And, critically, they filter out personally identifiable information, or PII. That's a huge step to protect individual privacy. So after all that filtering and sifting and cleaning, what are we actually left with? We get this refined, high-quality dataset. A perfect real-world example of this is a dataset called FineWeb, which was put together by the team at Hugging Face. After processing a truly unbelievable amount of raw data from Common Crawl, the final curated FineWeb library ends up being about 44 terabytes. And that still sounds massive, right? 44 terabytes of pure high-quality text. But here's the part that just blows my mind. That entire 44 terabyte library, the distilled essence of the readable internet, can fit on a single modern hard drive that you could go out and buy today. It's incredible. It just shows you how much junk gets filtered out to get to the good stuff. For every page that makes it in, hundreds, maybe even thousands are thrown away. So what does a book in this final library actually look like? Well, here you go. Here's a sample. It's clean, it's factual, it's well-structured text. This is exactly the kind of material the AI is going to learn from. A huge collection of high-quality documents about everything from science to history.
Okay, so the library is built. The collection has been meticulously curated, and the shelves are stocked with the absolute best books the internet has to offer. It's only now, with this solid foundation in place, that the AI can finally begin to read.
And when we say read, what we really mean is that its neural networks, its artificial brain, will start processing this massive tapestry of text. The goal here isn't to just memorize facts like a computer, it's to learn and internalize the incredibly complex patterns, the grammar, the context, the whole flow of how we humans communicate with each other. It's learning not what we say, but how we say it.
And that brings us to a final, really crucial thought. Every single step we just looked at involved a human choice. What to throw out, what language to focus on, what quality even means. So if this library is what fundamentally shapes the mind of the AI, it leaves us with one critical question. Who gets to be the librarian?